Hey Moon Magic family, welcome to your Moon Month forecast. Thank you so much for joining me, and for anyone who is new to this channel, welcome. The energy of this moon month is seriously working with you to create and bring about change. If I could sum it up, I would say it's kind of saying to you, what would you like to change in your world? It's time to rewrite your own script. Let your story unfold. So there's an incredibly magical energy of empowerment. And because of this, I've actually done individual zodiac readings for every single sign, and also then extended readings on Patreon, where we've gone into great detail about your career, money, finances, and also relationships as well. So if you haven't yet checked those out, please do so. I will put all the links into the description box below for you. Now, the first thing we are going to do in this video, I'm going to talk you through the cards and the runes that were drawn for this entire period. Then I'm going to tell you about a massive void of course moon and what this actually means for you. It's absolutely huge. The energy of it is mind-blowing. And then we will go through every single moon phase during this moon month so that you can actively use the lunar energy in the most positive way. So let's dive straight in. So the card of grace. Grace is that wonderful energy where we manage to align ourselves with grace, with love, with kindness, with compassion. Even if things are disrupted, Hagalaz, the rune of disruption, suggests that there are disruptions in our world, but they are coming in with purpose. Sometimes we reach a point where we feel we want to break free from something. Grace is the energy that allows us to make those adjustments and take decisions, even within disruption, in ways that kind of actually keep our own energy clear and hold those higher values of the spiritual warrior. Now with Jira, the rune of harvest, and trust the universe, it really does feel as if during June, it's kind of like the universe has the upper hand. We're being guided, we're being supported. If you are able on your pathway as a spiritual warrior, as we move through the latter part of June and into July, if you're able to hold your clarity and higher vision, you're kind of going to be seen, you're kind of going to be shown everything you need to see to be able to make adjustments that actually make sure that as you move into July and as we move through this sort of midpoint of the year, the summer solstice in June, and we move into the next 6 months, the next period of manifestation, that you can take the choices that you need to take in a really balanced way. You know, I feel with the energy in June, we really are working very hard while simultaneously feeling our way through sometimes some significant kind of ups and downs. It's like stuff being brought to the surface that we need to see. But providing that we hold that trust that we're being shown what we need when we need it, we're going to navigate with this energy in a really powerfully positive way. July, the energy of July is then very much about stepping up. And there are some really lovely pockets of reflective time. If you're steering a ship, and let's say you've gone through some choppy waters, or there's been some undercurrents, that's the better way of describing it. I think in June, if you have experienced some undercurrents that you have been brought to the surface and therefore you're needing to navigate slightly differently, they're actually very helpful because you can't navigate smoothly without being aware of the undercurrents, so you need to see them. But then as the energy kind of flows into July, you can really get yourself properly on track. You're steering in a manner that is on course. You can see when you need to reach out for help, any relationships that are hindering you, any challenges that previously were there. You're going to be able to guide your way, navigate your way through them in a really kind of balanced way. There's some super lovely pockets of energy. And if you think of yourself as being on that ship, that voyage, it's kind of like having recognized some undercurrents. In July, you kind of get to put down anchor and really take stock of where you are, so that you're then consciously navigating in exactly the direction that you want to go in next. It's like fine-tuning your direction. So it's a phenomenally empowering time, actually, this particular moon month. I mean, this is the 6th moon month of the year, and we're moving in tribal law, we're moving from listening woman, where we're really feeling our way through hearing, as it were, what's going on, literally seeing, hearing. If we think of hearing as a holistic experience, we're really listening to life, and life is then, and the universe is showing us what we need to see. We're now moving into the moon month of Storyteller, which is also governed by the tree law of Hawthorne. Storyteller is about rewriting your own story, taking charge of the situation. Back to that, what would you like to change in your world? It's time to rewrite your own script. Let your new story unfold. Hawthorne brings a magnificent energy to this moon month. The lessons and qualities of Hawthorne support boundaries, really. The energy of Hawthorne is very, very protective. And even though these trees don't look as though they're very big, they can actually live for up to 700 years. So they have been witness to many, many changes. They carry a lot of wisdom. They're very humble and yet very magnificent. It's actually said that if you spend time with a hawthorn tree, it will help you to let go of any of the conditioned thinking patterns that actually separate you from the natural world and stop you from being able to live in a more naturally responsive way that is right for you. So again, really profound energy in these kinds of teachings that help us to navigate this moon month, so that we find ourselves really living in alignment with our greatest purpose, living in alignment and in balance with what is right for us each. So phenomenal energy indeed. So let me just tell you a little bit now about this massive, massive void of course moon. A void of course moon is when the moon is moving from one sign to another. So if we think of the lunar energy as channeling through the personality of a sign, when she moves from one sign to another, there is very often a space in between. So her energy is not being influenced by the personality of any of the signs. And this can be very liberating. But if you're feeling a bit out at sea, you may feel very unanchored and a bit sort of all over the place, a bit wibbly wobbly, as if you lose your direction. Now, when we get a really long void of course period, this really can feel quite huge. And this particular void of course moon that is massive is between June the 22nd and June the 23rd. The moon is moving from Leo into Virgo, and the period of time is 17.5 hours. I mean, it's just huge. You know, we are heading for what feels like a full day. And what is quite amazing with this void of course moon is that it happens to sit within the 4-day window of the summer solstice, or indeed if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's the winter solstice. But the point is, the solstice energy is a natural turning point in the Earth's calendar. I think if you really slow yourself down, it's as if the Earth herself slows down, and if you slow down in alignment with that energy, you can sort of feel that point of turn. It's a really interesting experience, and it's a major point of shift. So if you're working on something, or you're needing to find clarity, or you're needing to gather your energy, realign your energy for a new phase of momentum, this is the perfect time to do it. And with the void of course moon energy, it is going to be, I think, a really, really valuable period. So this is 1700 hours, that's 5 p.m. on June the 22nd. This is UK time, through to June the 22nd, 10:35 a.m. It is really, really worth using that time as a kind of a still time, an anchor point to really either hold your vision or re-anchor yourself in order to see what you need to see, to request to be shown what you need to see in order to navigate that particular period of time appropriately. In the readings for every single zodiac sign, I've actually drawn a card specifically about that solstice window and about that void of course period of time. So as I said, if you've not yet seen those readings for your zodiac sign, do check them out. So let's move on to the energy flow for the different moon phases throughout this moon month, so you can really get the max out of the incoming lunar energy. Now the new moon, which is predominantly on June the 18th, it depends where you are in the world, let me bring up those timings for you. The energy of this new moon actually feels very positive and very motivated. It's really offering us an ideal window of time to set very clear wishes and intentions. Now the overall energy of the day is favouring profound spiritual connections. So if there are any areas of uncertainty or confusion in your life, I'm very aware that this can feel a bit overwhelming. When we're in a very spiritual zone, we don't always feel grounded. So set your wishes and intentions in terms of what you really, really want to happen. But don't then rush to make anything happen or to move ahead too quickly, because there's actually an opportunity in the window of energy on this day to observe your world and your current circumstances from all angles. And once you process this information, the way will then become clear to you. And there is also a void of course period on this day between Gemini and Cancer. The moon then enters her waxing crescent moon phase from June the 19th to the 25th, and she will pass through Cancer, Leo, Virgo and into Libra. The essence of this moon phase is all about putting wrongs to right and letting go of old structures and systems that no longer serve, and kind of doing the stuff we need to do to make this possible. Saturn is shifting into retrograde to really support us with this process. We also have the summer solstice energy, or the winter solstice if you are in the southern hemisphere. Now, inevitably, during periods of very accelerated change, we sometimes experience resistance, both inside of us and also in our external world as well. Now, at the time of the solstice, plus this phenomenal and very, very massive void of course period, we do see the potential for some quite highly charged kind of reactive behaviours. Now, the solstice in itself, as I've already said, is a time of natural transition. And so as far as positive changes are concerned, the universe will seriously have your back. So lean into the shift and use the energy to support your own growth and evolution. And during the void of course period, if you're feeling unanchored, just get still and meditate. Everything you need to see will be shown to you. Now, the first quarter moon on June the 26th in Libra actually feels rather busy and quite fast paced, but also potentially very, very productive. The first quarter moon is always a time of evaluation, so the pull of the energy on this day is really seeking balance and harmony. So whatever shifts were happening in your world over the solstice period, take stock today and take into account the way that your heart is feeling, balanced with the objectivity of your mind, and then go full steam ahead. The moon then enters her waxing gibbous phase from June the 27th to July the 2nd, passing through Libra, Scorpio and into Sagittarius. Now, the forward motion of this moon phase feels very steady actually, and set to plough ahead, whether internally or in your external manifestations. So consolidate, invest and grow. This is a really good time to kind of persevere and keep going. The lunar energy on the 30th taps into some very changeable influences. So if any disruptions occur around this time, it may mean that you need to see something more clearly and, if necessary, tweak and course correct before then continuing on your way. You may feel the emotional impact as well of these interruptions and distractions around the 1st of July, but truly this will be fleeting. The overall build-up to this full moon that we're about to reach is remarkably reflective and very, very positive. And just before the full moon in Capricorn, as the moon moves between Sagittarius and Capricorn, we do have a 4-hour void of course period. The full moon on July the 3rd is in Capricorn. Now, let me bring the timings up onto the screen so you can see the exact timings for your location on our beautiful planet. Now, whilst this full moon is in earthy, ambitious Capricorn, and it's very primed, the energy is very primed for expansion, the lunar influence may also highlight any insecurities that you have about achieving success and believing in yourself, taking an ownership of your greatest potential. However, there is also the potential that this moon will illuminate new ways of addressing any old problems from a balanced perspective. So, given the underlying shifts and turns of the last few weeks, I think this looks to be a really interesting moon of significant potential. The disseminating or waning gibbous moon phase, which runs from July the 4th through to the 9th, passing through Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and then into Aries, the energy is really interesting. Despite the steadying influence of the disseminating moon, because she's beginning to get a little bit smaller, the lunar influence of this phase is actually remarkably strong, and there are some significant surges of rather impulsive energy on the 4th, the 6th and the 8th. And on the 6th we also have a void of course period. It's only 4 hours, but nevertheless you could feel a bit unanchored. So this is when the moon moves from Aquarius into Pisces. So during this moon phase, there's quite an ebb and flow and a kind of momentum happening, always moving ahead, but also with surges that could give you an additional push. And this may feel amazing, but it could also feel a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. Remember, all of this comes with a higher purpose. The current overall astrodynamics are highlighting the connection between past actions and present circumstances, with a massive push to change the way that we do things and to fix and heal so we can create a different future. This is a moon phase that invites us to step up and walk our talk. So whatever was illuminated at the full moon, use this period of time to observe, notice and process this information thoroughly, and where necessary, take action. The last quarter moon on July the 10th in Aries really does suggest the energy of a welcome moment of pause that invites you to embrace the ethos of healing and reparation. So press the pause button. Acknowledge and accept the things that you can't change, and recognize what you can change in the present time in order to really commit to the active steps that you personally can take that will initiate healing and the creation of a different future. This kind of energy is a real gift to the spiritual warrior. The balsamic moon or waning crescent moon from July the 11th to the 16th, which passes through Taurus, Gemini and into Cancer, suggests that it is really time to talk, not just with others, though that may be appropriate, but actually with ourselves. Have that conversation. This moon phase begins with a powerful dynamic that asks you to step up and walk your talk, so really check things out with yourself. The overall flow of lunar energy at this time may not feel massively gentle, but the opportunities to see everything from all perspectives and to gain real clarity and real understanding really do feel immense. And we have a void of course period when the moon moves between Gemini and Cancer. It's a 5-hour period. Really good time to get still. In your personal manifestations, this period really allows you to seek clarity in any area of your life that may have been feeling uncertain or blocked. And as we then start a new moon month, there is opportunity to realign your focus and set wishes and intentions to start a whole new moon month of manifesting with the lunar energy. Beautiful Moon Magic family, thank you so much for joining me for this moon month forecast. I hope that this is helpful to you, because there are a couple of periods of, well, a very, very, very massive void of course period and a couple of pockets of kind of slightly intense energy, you might want to bookmark this video, because if you do find yourself having a wobble or a little moment of uncertainty, it's always helpful to check in, because it will give you an indication of how quickly that energy is going to move forwards and how best to use its influence. My beautiful souls, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so grateful to all of you for being here. It really is a privilege to read cards for you, to give you information about the incoming flow of the energy for the coming moon month. Personally, for me, learning how to manifest with the moon has been absolutely liberating, so it's a joy to share it with you. And I am so grateful for all of you being here, supporting the channel, and just so appreciative. And thank you. Several of you have been making donations through the super thanks recently. Just huge appreciation and gratitude to you all. Blessings to you all for this coming moon month. I am sending you all the love in the world, and thank you for walking that pathway of a spiritual warrior. Big respect to you all. Tons of love.